Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into something I think we all grapple with, resilience. But not just the idea of it, we're looking at it through, well, a pretty fascinating lens. Donald Trump.
Yeah, you almost can't separate the two, can you? I mean, look, this document we have, plus these clips from another podcast, it's all about how he just keeps going. Setbacks, controversies, you name it.
It's kind of mind-boggling,
You know,
right? The document, it lays it all out there. The business bankruptcies, all the stuff with the casinos, things that honestly would make most folks want to crawl under a rock.
And that's where this whole unyielding spirit thing comes in. That's how they describe him. And it's not just like a fluffy compliment. They're saying Trump, he turns these hits into like attacks by the elites, makes him the champion for, the everyday person.
So it's not just bouncing back, it's like using it to his advantage.
Yeah.
To connect with people who feel like the system's against them too.
Exactly. It's strategic. Look at Trump Tower. The document, it goes into all the fights he had. Zoning, people protesting, the whole deal. But did he quit? Nope. And now it's the symbol of his success. Like a big screw you to everyone who doubted him.
But I gotta wonder, does that always work out for him? Like the casinos. The sources kind of imply he kept pushing, even when maybe he should have cut his losses.
That's the question, isn't it? Is resilience just going full steam ahead no matter what? Or is there a time to, I don't know, adjust your course? Trump seems to do both.
You know, one thing that seems to fuel him, that comes up a lot, is faith and family. And it's not just talk, it feels, I don't know, genuine.
It's like a foundation, right? That support system that helps him deal with all the craziness. He always brings up God, talks about family values. It's not just words, it seems to guide his actions.
There's this one clip where he says, and I'm paraphrasing here, something like, God helps me make the right calls. And it stuck with me because it shows, wow, his beliefs, they really shape how he handles things.
Yeah, and it's not just talk. He brings his family into everything, rallies, events, the whole nine yards. It says something. They matter to him, and maybe that gives him stability in all this chaos.
Okay, buckle up, because this is where things got interesting for me. The document, it talks about this partnership that seems on the surface totally bonkers. Trump and Elon Musk. Like what?
See, this is resilience through unlikely allies. You got to look past the obvious differences and see the shared goals, and that's what they did. It even says this might have been key to him getting back in the White House.
Okay, I'm lost. How does that even work? What did each of them bring to the table? Because from the outside, it just makes zero sense.
Think about it. Musk, he's all about tech, shaking things up, appealing to like younger voters, something Trump needed, those drone shows at rallies, pure Musk. And Musk, he gets access to power, someone who can push his ideas in D.C. A win-win, even if it ruffled some feathers.
A political power couple, but with way higher stakes. What makes that kind of alliance work when it seems so impossible? Is that something we can learn from? Even if we're not, billionaires or running for president?
That is a fantastic question, and one maybe we dig into a little deeper as we keep going with this, because resilience, it isn't always just pushing hard. Sometimes it's finding those connections you'd never expect that help you reach your goals.
And we're back, diving deeper into what makes Donald Trump so, well, resilient.
We've seen how, I guess, faith and family, even those weird partnerships like with Elon Musk, have helped him through some tough stuff.
And that whole fighter image,
Right.
right? Never backing down from a fight.
Which brings us to something that really tested him, the pandemic. The document, it doesn't sugarcoat it, calls it a defining moment, not just for Trump, but for America.
It's wild, right? You've got this global crisis, nobody knows what's going to happen, and Trump, who's all about strength and control, suddenly has to deal with something he can't just tweet away. Exactly. How do you project that unyielding spirit when the whole world is freaking out about this invisible enemy? The sources, they point out how he downplayed it at first, focused on the economy, trying to keep people calm.
Someone in the audio clips, they even compare it to, like, a wartime strategy. Project confidence back home while you fight the enemy. The document suggests Trump, maybe he saw himself as this protector, shielding people from fear.
Makes sense. But as things got worse, that approach, it got a lot of pushback. People said he wasn't taking it seriously, that him resisting like masks and stuff was putting lives at risk.
And that's where you really see that resilience kick in. Does he back down? Nope. Doubles down. Talks about successes, keeps saying everything's under control, even when the numbers tell a different story.
It's like that belief in himself we talked about. It gets even stronger when people challenge him. He's basically saying, I trust my gut, even if the experts don't.
And here's the thing. Even with all the drama, his core supporters, they stuck with him. That means something.
It makes you think, what was it about his approach that resonated so strongly, even when things were, falling apart?
The document suggests it's that image he's built. Right. The fighter, the outsider, taking on the establishment. They saw him as one of them, even if his ways were, let's say, unorthodox.
So it's not just about making the right choices, it's about the image, sticking to your guns no matter what. That can be really powerful, especially when things are uncertain.
Totally. And that kind of leads us to another piece of Trump's resilience, something we touched on earlier, communication, especially social media. This is a guy who knew how to build a brand way before
Oh
politics.
yeah, Twitter, Truth Social, he used those like weapons.
The source material calls it narrative control, basically shaping how people see things. And Trump, he was a pro at that, especially online. True. But there's a flip side. That power, it can be dangerous. Trump's style, it's had consequences. More division, less trust in, institutions, harder to talk about things without everyone getting angry.
Good point. So as we head into the last part of this deep dive, we've got some big questions. What does Trump's resilience say about leadership today? What are the good and bad parts of his approach? And what can we learn, even if we're not trying to be president?
All right, last leg of our Donald Trump resilience deep dive.
Wow, we've covered a lot, haven't we? From those early business days to like the pandemic craziness and how he
Yeah.
uses social media.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how he just keeps coming back from stuff that would make most people give up.
And we've seen, I guess, how his style, it's both like inspiring and kind of scary to people. It's like a lesson in, believing in yourself, but
Hmm.
also maybe the downside of that.
So as we wrap this up, what's really sticking with you? What can we learn from all this, even if, we don't agree with his politics or whatever? Honestly, the biggest thing is just how much he believes in himself. The document, those recordings, it's all about this guy who's convinced he's meant for big things. It's almost like he makes it happen just by, I don't know, sheer willpower.
Like he's the main character in his own movie, and that belief, it spreads, it fires up his supporters, gets his team going, and man, it really bugs his opponents.
And it's not just himself, right? It's believing in this bigger idea. For Trump, it's America, bringing it back to how he thinks it used to be.
That whole Make America Great Again thing, it wasn't just a catchy line. It tapped into something a lot of people feel, wanting things to be like they were when America was, I guess, on top.
And whether you agree with that or not, it worked. It gave people a reason to be part of something, a cause to get behind. Ever felt that yourself, that nostalgia, wanting things to go back to a better time? How'd that affect, like, your choices, how you saw the world?
Oh, for sure. We all get a little romanticized about the past sometimes. It's powerful stuff, and Trump, he knows how to use that.
And that leads into another thing, right? Connecting with people emotionally. Trump's a pro at it. He skips the logic stuff and goes right for the gut. He talks about people's fears, what they're worried about, who they're mad at.
Doesn't hold back, does he? Tells it like it is, or at least how he sees it. And yeah, some people hate that, but his base, they love him for it.
They think he's real, someone fighting for them, even if he bends the rules a bit. That loyalty is, like, priceless in politics.
It's funny, he does the same thing with social media, right? Skips the regular news and talks right to his people, no filter.
The document, it calls it narrative control, basically deciding how people see things. And Trump, online, he was amazing at it.
He knows today whoever controls the story wins. And he's not afraid to stir the pot. He gets that conflict means attention, attention means power.
True, but that power, it can be bad news. Trump's way, it's caused problems. People are more divided. They don't trust stuff. It's hard to talk about anything without, a fight.
Yeah, good point. So after all this, it's not just how do we be tougher, but how do we use that toughness for good stuff?
Exactly. Resilience isn't just surviving, it's using your strength to make things better. Standing up for things, even when it's hard, but doing it in a way that brings people together, not tears them apart.
This has been wild, really.
Yeah.
Looking at resilience through this guy, Trump, who, love him or hate him, has changed things in America.
His story's not over, but hopefully this makes us think about what resilience really is, the good and bad of it.
Thanks for sticking with us on this, everyone. Keep exploring, keep learning, be the best you can be.
And remember, the world needs people who are tough, who care, and who want to make things better. So go do that.